his safety.
Yeah.
Hey, Tom, can I make a suggestion? Turn your computer around so your light is in your face, okay? So your light is in your face. So make sure your light is in your face, okay, Tom?
Yeah.
It's a long story, Dion. Don't worry.
Okay, folks, technically I should be live, but I'm checking my phone. It doesn't say that I'm live yet, so I just hit the go live button. Sorry about that. I'm still waiting over here. Give me a moment, okay? Really appreciate your patience. Thank you. Okay, let's see. Checking my software right quick. But I'm checking my phone. Okay, we're good. Okay.
All right.
I do see it finally. Sorry, there's a huge delay. Huge lag. Okay. But it looks pretty smooth. Okay. I'm getting a call right now. Oh my goodness. Okay. Jane, you're in. Oh, Jane. Okay. Give me a second. Okay, I'm so sorry. Jane, how's it going? Oh yeah. Oh, okay? The link's not working for you. Okay, just check the email because that link should be good. And we're actually live right now, so we're just about to get started. Your time doesn't come up till about later on. Okay. Oh, I do see someone's joining, so that might be you. I'm so sorry. Okay. We are live right now. Okay, yeah. So email that to me, and then I'll play that at the appropriate time. Okay. Okay, thank you. Okay. For some reason, there's someone trying to join this call. It doesn't seem like I can add them. Weird. Oh, okay. I can do it now. Okay. Okay, folks. We have a schedule, so we're going to start with that right now. Oh my goodness, we're already running late. So let me get right to it, folks. We're starting right now. Okay. Check it out. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to introduce the allies. So the thing is that right now there's a very important rate. Oh, before we start, right, I just want if you're not actually speaking at that time, right, or if you're not scheduled to speak, right now it's going to be the introductory speakers and myself. Then I want you to turn off your camera, and that's going to be true for the rest of the program, right? If you're not in the active list, I want y'all to turn off your cameras if you're on the stream, all right? The next thing is that the chat, just so you know, in the Google Meet that we're in, we have a chat. But my screen is being broadcast to the world, so anything you put in that chat will be seen by everybody. Okay, I just want everybody to know that. All right, so we're going to start right off. Tonight we're going to start the program by introducing our allies. And tonight, one of my allies right now, and a very important ally, is Tom Zimich. Now, right now, Grace Meng is a huge problem. She actually is running against Tulsi. She actually replaced Tulsi Gabbard, and she has horrible ties to Hillary Clinton that tied to the CCP. We need to win a federal seat. Tom is actually someone who would qualify for that. And right now, Trump is killing it. McDonald's, I thought that was incredible footage. Could help a down-ballot candidate like Tom Zimich get a federal seat, which would help so many city down-ballot candidates, state down-ballot candidates. And 2 years from now, 4 years from now, it could really set. So I'm so excited to have him here. You will hear other people also testifying about how Grace Meng has victimized them personally on today's program. Tom, you ready? Go ahead. Introduce yourself.
Hello, everyone. Good evening. My name is Tom Zimich. I'm running in District 6 for Congress in Queens, New York, which is 7-1 Democrat. But still, we're going to still keep pumping forward. We need your support to keep going. A lot of people here tonight, Jane and DJ, they supported our campaign. We've been out there supporting them. We've been out there at the Chinese consulate. We've been out there at the Queens Public Library, out in the streets, fighting the CCP, fighting against the tyranny that the people in the street in my district are telling me stories. It's out of control. Telling me the stories of how their oppression and the brutality of the CCP back home. They came here, and now they're being followed in the streets over here. I need to get to Congress so we can pass some legislation and get the authorities involved more deeply than what they've done so far here in Queens and in New York, where, of course, I'm not sure if everyone has heard that Grace Meng was involved with this Chinese police station thing, going after the dissidents that are here and going after the people who have fled the tyranny on the other side to get away from it, and they're being persecuted here and their families back home. We are well aware of that situation. That is why I am involved with the Chinese Human Rights Alliance people now. They've joined with me. I've joined with them. We have a mutual understanding to defeat this enemy. This is an evil enemy, and we will continue to fight here in America because our freedoms are what matter, and it's the only place left in the world that people can get to and get away from being persecuted religiously and politically, and also to their personal beliefs. They understand that here in America, you have that freedom that they don't have everywhere else. And I'm here to stand in that fight. I'm a veteran. The first Gulf War, 8 years I was in the military, 40 years I was in a construction union. I'm retired now, and we are devoting full time into this race. We've run before. We've gotten close, even though there's a supermajority of Democrats here. We did very good numbers last time, the first time, the second time. Now the third time, hopefully good luck will be on our side, and we'll be able to go forward and win this election. And from judging from the last couple of weeks out on the street, everyone here is fed up. Everyone here wants a change. We went to a civic meeting the other night. They all were berating Grace Meng for not even showing up for their meetings. In 2 years, they haven't seen her. And I was there, and that's why, like I said, you have to be a representative of all the people in your district, and represent them down in Congress for the voting. And like I said, Grace Meng claims to be pro, Asian American rights and women's rights and everything. And her voting record is atrocious on that. She has voted no against almost everything that we all stand for, and anything that is American or anything that has to do with freedom.
Yeah,
So
if I could actually, you're so true. The list of problems with Grace Meng goes a mile long, yeah? But the thing is that right now, I want to say right now, there's another candidate running against Tom who's Asian American, and I like the guy, but, he's kind of new to the game. He's, I really do like this guy. I think he's a nice guy. I think his heart's in the right place, but Tom is actually more experienced. Tom is someone who I've worked with for years. Tom is someone who I'm endorsing in this race. Now, tell you the truth, Grace Meng is a huge problem and actually victimized many Asian Americans like myself. And knowing Tom, he's someone that I believe can do the job, not trying to be against the brother, man. I'm telling you right now, Joseph, I think you're an amazing guy. I think you got big potential. I think that if you get behind Tom, I think Tom could help a lot of down ballot candidates being a federal candidate, right? Thank you so much for being here today, Tom. How can people find out more about your campaign? How can they donate? How can they support it?
Well, right now, you can get in touch with me on it's Mitch2020@gmail.com. We have Twitter, Tom's Mitch on Twitter. We have, we're not on Facebook, but we're on Instagram, Tom's Mitch, at Tom's Mitch on Instagram. And also, too, we got the QR code. I don't know if I can put it up there. QR code, you can get in touch with us through that link on the QR code. DJ, I'll send it to you, and you can post it on.
We're gonna pin that in the descriptions. All right. Yeah. All right, gotcha.
And like I said, I'm sure all you do know, but we have this QR code that you can look up about Grace Meng and her connections.
Yeah.
Our connections to the CCP and taking the money and all that. It's all right there in Newsweek magazine.
We're gonna go to the next ally right here. Sorry, we just have a real tight schedule we're working with here.
Have a good night, everyone.
All right, let's go on to Dion Powell right here. Thanks again. Yeah, Dion Powell, another ally, been a very Black Lives Matter, was formerly with Blexit. Go ahead, Dion, running for state senate right now.
Yes, good evening, family. I'm District Leader Dion Powell of the 70th Assembly District here in the Bronx, New York. District that we recently turned because of the Bronx Conservative Party into the first Republican City Council district in 40 years in the bluest county in America, over 1.1 million people, mostly Democrats. We have our first Republican here now. I'm here to say thanks a lot to Ed Lee and the Asian community, AAPI community. They're always going to add extra letters and make it more inclusive. But on behalf of the great Black vote, which is only 14% of the population, I'm here to encourage everybody to not let their votes be manipulated or co-opted, and have gatekeepers like some names that were mentioned earlier and other names we know in Asian leadership that's been absorbed into the blue team. However, thanks to people that me and Ed know, like Lester Chang, they are getting off of that, blue control plantation, as it were, like the African American community as well, and being more open-minded. So I'm here to make sure I share information and resources with the AAPI community and say that, don't feel guilted and shamed into voting against your interests You guys have advanced education. You have access to ownership, capital, and leadership. And now all of us as people of color are moving over to the right side of the fence, or just standing still and letting the whole Democratic Party, Progressive Party move so far left that we can't even recognize or keep up with it anymore. And I just, as we go forward, November's coming, and sadly to say that more of us are going to become less and less as we look to each other around our shoulders. People are starting to split apart and go to the right side. Some people get left behind. Some people are not going to stop voting. But we're here to say, hey, stay focused.
You're also, a big member of the Conservative Party right there. You're running for state senate. You're doing incredible work right there. How can people follow your work, or where should they, get in contact with you?
All right, like you said earlier, I'm part of Black Lives MAGA, MAGA.life, BlackLivesMAGA.life. Also, I have the Bronx, New York, Progressive Democrats and Conservative Democrats and Progressive Republicans on Facebook. And, I'm Dion at nyconsultant.us. That's singular. Dion at nyconsultant.us. I'm a consultant for businesses, nonprofits, faith-based organizations, special interest groups, and political strategy. Thanks a lot, Ed.
Hey, when I got something I really need done, we had the 2 longest wrongful incarceration in New York State history that went to Kamala Harris's office. Dion was part of the team that helped make that happen. Thanks again, Dion. You're amazing, and you've been a great ally. Yeah, Asian Americans have, white allies, black allies. Sorry, it looks like Edwin Cruz was not able to make it. Now, I think that Lisa was supposed to be here, but she actually is in some other calls. She may jump in at the end. She's got some very exciting things to tell us, but I believe we're moving on now to our keynote speaker. Oh my goodness, I'm so excited. Yeah? All right, so Holly, are you ready to go? All right, folks, while she's getting her stuff turned on, I'll just give a quick introduction. She worked, actually, it looks like she's on, so go ahead, Holly.
Yes. Hi, Ed. Good evening. I like what I've been hearing from your allies with both Thomas and Dion. And I really love that it's Black Lives MAGA. I really love that because we are here. We're here to make America great again. So good evening. Thank you for having me. It's really incredible. We have, let me just get my day straight here. I think we have 16 days before Election Day. Is that right? November 5th. So it's just around the corner. So more than a dozen states, maybe closer to 2 dozen states have early voting already. And in my home state of Texas, early voting starts tomorrow. So again, I'm pleased to be with you all here this evening. I have 3 topics that I'd like to speak with you all about. First, your vote counts. So we all have family, we all have friends and neighbors and people that we know and we love. And they say, I'm not going to vote. My vote doesn't count, right? And they give whatever reason is, fill in the blank. My husband, my wife, my cousin, my neighbor, my colleague will cancel my vote. So it just doesn't account. And so I alone can't make a difference. Or I don't know who to vote for, so I'm not going to vote, or I don't have the time. Well, to me, all these are excuses. And it's human nature that when we don't want to do something, we have an excuse. And I'm going to tell you my story, and it's probably similar to a lot of your viewers and others on this call. I immigrated to this country as a child, and that was in 1980. My parents left socialist Vietnam with 5 young kids in tow. We were both refugees from Vietnam. Socialist Vietnam, that's not where my parents wanted to raise 5 children. So we made it to America by the grace of God, and they raised 5 young kids on blue-collar wages. They provided a home for us. They bought their first home, and so it allowed them to own a piece of America and live the American dream. And through that process, we all became naturalized citizens. And it's one of our sacred rights as a U.S. citizen, born here or naturalized, that is the right to vote. And so exercise that civic duty, exercise your right to vote. So yes, your vote counts. So we're going to make sure that you know in your state, I'm hoping that you've registered to vote already and that you know when early voting starts. And definitely if you're not there at early voting, then make it on November 5th and vote. The second issue, actually the second item I want to talk to is actually about issues. issues, issues, and issues. So for Americans that do vote, some may ask their friends or their neighbors, well, who should I vote for? What's on the ballot? What are these people running for? So obviously there's a lot of ads out there. You maybe live in a neighborhood or a community with a lot of yard signs, billboards. You hear all kinds of things when you turn on the news, turn on the radio in the car, satellite radio. Well, one would think that who you vote for depends on what's important to you. And it should be about what's important to you, your family, your community. So it should be about the issues. And you think about those issues and what experience and wisdom does a specific candidate have that they will handle that issue, and how that issue aligns with your liking, your philosophy, your values, and your ideology. And so we cannot disregard the major issues that are on the platforms this year. From top of the ballot, top of the ticket, the presidential race, to the Senate, to congressional races, probably down to your local city council and local races. The economy, a very, very important issue. There's no doubt about it. We are in a poor economy. This economy is hurting a lot of families. Rising prices, inflation, it is really unaffordable. Bread, milk, sugar, bacon, insurance, housing, you name it. Compared to what President Trump did 4 years ago, we had a prosperous economy. That rising tide, when President Trump was in office from 2017 to 2021, that rising tide lifted all boats. And that's very, very important. Another important issue is crime and safety. I don't know about where you are, but I know in Texas, we've seen a tremendous amount of increase in crime all over the state, and not just along the border where there's an open border, and not just in major cities, but in small towns and rural towns, and has impacted every community I know. We don't have to talk about, the gangs and the convicted felons that are here from all over the world, but crime has been on the increase. And so safety and crime is another important issue. Speaking of that open border, we feel it in Texas. I'm pretty sure in Arizona, in other border states, you see it too. But the open border, every state now feels like they have an open border. Because while they may come through the border in Texas or Arizona or other places, all this illegal immigration has gone to every single state. And so we really need to close that border, and we need to make sure, look, comprehensive immigration, every administration talks about it. It is difficult. But along with the open border that we have today is a lot of trafficking, human trafficking, sex trafficking, drug trafficking, guns trafficking. So this is a major, major issue. And let's just talk about what's going on globally. So the issue on war and peace. During President Trump's 4 years in office, there were no new wars. Peace through strength was one of President Trump's and his administration's motto, and there was peace, especially peace in the Middle East. How many decades has it been since that goal of peace in the Middle East, and what does it mean? And so when there's a vision and a visionary with a vision and teams that can execute, we can have this peace. But no, what we have right now is a war. And in fact, it's really sad to commemorate the 1-year anniversary of October 7th. And for any Jewish listeners out there, or even all listeners out there, this is the week of Sukkot. And in fact, we have a lot of Jewish friends. We celebrate Sukkot. It's also Yom Kippur. Happy New Year. Happy Sukkot. But it's really sad to see what happened just a little bit over a year ago on October 7th. 1,200 innocent victims. We still have hostages. So war or peace? And I'd rather have peace. A president like Donald Trump back in the office. And lastly, I just want to touch on future for our children. I know when my family immigrated to this country, that's what my parents were looking at. There's a future in socialist Vietnam, or a future in the beacon of hope of a country like America. And that future and that American dream, and that could be the owning a piece of America with your first home. That could be building your business. That could just be achieving anything you put your mind to. But that future doesn't look as great as it did when I was a kid. And I know that I'm fighting for this country and the future of this country for my children and others. And so the last thing I want to talk about is you want to go vote and you want to look at the issues. It's very important to educate yourself and just look around. What really is going on, right? Are we as safe as we were 4 years ago? Everybody knows when you come out of the grocery store, you're paying a little bit more for a lot less. So inflation is really hurting the American family, it's hurting the middle class, and it's hurting everybody. And so you can tame inflation. We've got a drill. There's a lot of energy sources right here in our country, and energy is everywhere. And I think if we really look at how we can bring energy into our country, that would really tame inflation. But there's many other ways too, and I'm not an economist, and I'm not going to provide policy recommendations because that's not me, but just really listen to what's going on. And it's okay to question what you hear, because cable news, newspapers, sometimes schools, there's actually a left bias to it now. And so in today's world, one of the hardest parts of just being in the society is who can you trust with the information that you're trying to consume? There's a lot of information out there, but even those at our fingertips, is it accurate? Is it biased? So sadly, journalism and the news networks have swayed too far left, and there's bias coming from the media, there's bias coming from journalism, and journalism is supposed to be fair and impartial. And so people are asking, well, who do I listen to? And so even with this unfairness and impartiality, the target that we've seen, even going back to 2015, when Donald J. Trump and Mrs. Melania Trump walked down those escalators, that target of this media has been Donald J. Trump. But I will tell you this about President Trump. I've had the incredible privilege and honor of my professional career of serving President Trump and the American people during his entire first administration. In 2017, I was nominated by the president to serve as the Assistant Secretary for Management at the Department of Education. And in that presidential appointee role, I moved on also to the White House Initiative on Asian Americans and Pacific Islanders, and from there to the Department of Commerce. And I concluded that 4-year period at Housing and Urban Development under Dr. Ben Carson. I have experienced firsthand how effective and how impactful a Trump administration is. And again, during those 4 years, we had economic prosperity. We had safety and security. I felt fine for my kids to go out there and ride their bikes. I felt fine driving at night. And if I had to pull over and put gas in my car, I will. It doesn't feel that way at the moment. And again, peace through strength. No new wars during President Trump when he was in office from 17 to 21. And back to the American dream, there were many, many Americans and immigrants coming to this American that were thriving and living out those dreams. All Americans, all Asian Americans. And even Asian Americans, as we all know, have a lot of differences too. And so collectively, sometimes we're stereotyped as the model minority. And however, there are many, many gaps when we disaggregate the data. There are gaps and differences in education, in income attainment, in mobility on the socioeconomic ladder. So we look at different types of voters. Let's look at Hmong voters, for example. Well, California has the largest population of Hmong voters. There are considerable groups of Hmong voters in Minnesota, in Michigan, in Wisconsin, and even in North Carolina. In Minnesota, there are Hmong voters that are unhappy with how Governor Tim Walz failed to protect his state, and especially small businesses, during and after the George Floyd riots. It's devastated their livelihood and their families. I hope those voters understand that this is what a Tim Walz vice presidency along with a Harris presidency would look like. They're not interested in those small businesses. They're interested not in making sure that the livelihoods of these families, and that is not right. Let's take another group of voters, Asian American voters, the Filipinos. Again, California has the largest number of Filipinos. However, when we look at battleground states such as Nevada, the Filipino vote is very, very important. And so you can see President Trump and Vice President Harris, they've been campaigning hard there. There was, again, important for Filipino voters. And by the way, I just want to give a shout out to Filipinos listening out there. It's Filipino American History Month. We recognize how important Filipinos are. We recognize how hardworking and diligent and family focused and always making sure that they're part of the community as a citizenry, working hard, providing a safe and kind environment for the fellow Filipinos. But we know in Nevada, with the strong hospitality industry, that it's going to be hurtful when wages are not rising as much as inflation. And so again, they're working hard, but their dollars are not going as far. And for many Asians, that actually limits and reduces the amounts that they're actually giving back and sending back to home countries. And so it was President Trump that said no tax on tips. He also wants no tax on Social Security. But no tax on tips is actually going to help all of those in the hospitality industry, especially as we were talking about Filipino voters in the state of Nevada. And so there's so many important issues, but I want to leave you again with your vote is important. Look at those issues, compare and contrast. You have a president that was in office for 4 years. You have a vice president candidate that's been in office for almost 4 years. Look at the big differences. And then let's make sure you're educating yourself. And we are part of Asians Making America Great Again. You can visit our website, it's asiansmaga.org. Talk to us. We can share with you a lot of the facts and a lot of the data. But at the end of the day, we know how important this election is. And so in closing, I just want to say that this election will steer the direction of our country and the world. Are we for freedom, liberty, and individual rights? Or are we for oppression and limited rights? Well, my family immigrated to America for the American dream, and we have achieved so much. And it's this country's founding values and the American spirit that made it possible. I don't know about you, but it sure feels under Joe Biden and Kamala Harris that as if the American dream is further and further unattainable for so many. And we certainly don't want Kamala Harris to take that away, the American dream. So when you go to the polls for this election, the choice is clear. If you want to preserve the American dream, vote for Trump. If you want a strong economy, vote for Trump. If you want to stop illegal immigration, vote for Trump. If you want public safety, vote for Trump. If you want world peace, vote for Trump. If you want to make America great again, vote for President Donald J. Trump. So thank you, God bless you, and may God bless America.
That was an amazing job. We got a lot of other things coming up, big stuff that's actually related to HUD and stuff like that. So you're an inspiration. Thanks for coming today. And I can't believe that I feel so honored. Yeah, anyways, let's move to the next panel discussion, where it's actually the candidates and Michael, who's actually going to introduce himself. He's actually, I think, the most widely distributed Korean-American political commentator. Go ahead, Mike, you ready?
Thank you for the nice introduction, Edward. Yeah, so I'll first explain who I am. I think, yeah, so I was a journalist since 2002. And currently I'm an independent journalist. I was the first Korean-American conservative commentator. I've been supporting Trump since 2003-4 when he was a Fox News pundit, political pundit back then. So I was a strong supporter of him. The day he announced his candidacy, I immediately just personally endorsed him, and I persuaded people around me, whether they're Democrats or Republicans. Especially I'm in Los Angeles. I didn't care. I just told people why he should be the leader of the free world. So recently, I think Ed already know, but I left Radio Korea. I was a news director there. I was prior to that, I was a political editor for Korea Daily, and I'm working as an independent journalist. I have a YouTube channel called. Is it okay if I talk a little bit of Korean? Yeah. It's called Truth Politics by Michael Wan, and as you might already know, the reason why I think Trump should be president is because YouTube has been suppressing a lot of conservatives, especially including me.
We'll talk more about our thoughts about that, like at the end of the program. We'll have
Yeah, sure. I just wanted to introduce myself really shortly.
So,
yeah.
But yeah, just if you want to shout out your channel right quick so people can sub, definitely he's worth a sub. He's a notable figure in the Korean American political space. You should definitely sub.
And so Ed, can you help me out on the panel discussion? Who are the panels? Is it all of us?
You're actually the moderator for this one, and you're going to take all the cans with you. So Mailer Seong's here. She's actually very important, right?
Hi, Maylor.
Yeah.
And David Pan. Congressional candidate David Pan. He's also.
Yeah, I saw David here. Yeah. So I'm going to actually clock out, and then you can actually you're running the whole.
Okay, sure. Okay, I thought. Yeah. All right.
Good luck. Okay, you got this, Mike.
Sure. So it's an Asian American. It's very difficult. Most of the Asian American audience, they consume their news like all other Americans, like New York Times, Washington Post, CNN, ABC, NBC, CBS, Time Magazine. Knowledge about climate change was just amazing. I think everybody should take a lecture from you. But anyway, can you talk about the current status of the media, including YouTube, the suppression? It's very difficult for conservatives to put their words out there. Like, for instance, my channel, it's not recommended anymore. So it is very difficult. And I think I was in the Korean mainstream media too, so, but anybody who supports Trump or supports a conservative cause, it's, we're all suppressed, and I think Asians predominantly consume their news from NYT WAPO, CNN, LA Times, as you might already know, David. So can you talk, can you show your opinion on that?
Yeah, thanks a lot for this question. I think that you're right about the kind of pervasive kind of left bias amongst a lot of media outlets and in academia as well. And so, I'm currently an ECI professor, and one of the reasons that I started to run for Congress was because of that extreme bias you get in academia. I think, we have to depend on the outlets that do have a more balanced approach. I mean, Wall Street Journal really has some excellent reporting and excellent opinion pages. Obviously, Fox News. I think we need to basically be building those alternative forms of media and media outlets and getting the message out that way. I think that's one way. I mean, they're starting this University of Austin to try and set up an alternative, I guess, framework for higher education as well. Because, ultimately what we have in, when you talk about the New York Times or you talk about most of the universities, you have a whole generation of people who have been trained in this particular perspective. And there's no quick and easy way to change that. And so really the only viable solution is, setting up alternative forums for getting new perspectives out. And, frankly, I think once that happens, people respond. I mean, in spite of the bias we have in a lot of the media, we still have pretty much a 50-50 country, right? So
yeah, in spite of all that,
I think that's something that we can, that can give us hope, right? And encourage us that when people get straight news and objective reporting, they respond. And even when they get biased news, they can see through that as well. So, I think it's a matter of getting our messages out and finding, the types of forums that we can build on to present those alternative messages. I think one thing that's really telling, recently is in the contrast between Kamala Harris and Donald Trump. Kamala Harris has really been pretty consistent in trying to either avoid talking about the real policies that she would want to implement, or trying to, in effect, pretend as if she were more conservative than she really is. That tells you something about where the American people are and the voters are. They're much more conservative than what they're being told by the Democratic Party and by a lot of the media sources. And so that's something that I think should encourage us to be able to get our message out and be confident that people will respond.
Mm-hmm. You've been working as a professor at UC Irvine for quite a long time, right?
Yes, 18 years.
18 years. So among your peers, the faculty, professors, were they like predominantly left-wing too as well?
Yes. So I'm a humanities professor. So we have a school of humanities, about 170 professors. And as far as I can tell, I'm the only Republican. I mean, everybody else is either,
Wow.
a Democrat or even, farther left than that. So that's kind of the way it is. And in fact, that precinct, where I reside, near UC Irvine, I guess what I heard was the official statistic that it's 96% Democrat versus 4% other parties.
So it's kind of sad because all these media members, most of them go to these prestigious schools.
Exactly.
And they get brainwashed by these left-wing professors, and that's why they automatically become left-wing, I guess, the media members.
Yeah, no, it's a big problem. I mean, the media, but it's also education. I mean, all of our teachers go through these schools of education, and they get the same type of training and the same type of bias as well. So, it feeds through to, K through 12 education through that whole system.
Mm-hmm. What do you think about a former California chairman, Sean Steele's opinion? He was talking about this during the convention. He said that, in his opinion, we shouldn't send our kids to Harvard, Yale, or all these prestigious schools anymore because they would be completely brainwashed by left-wing agenda, woke agenda. So we should look for like state colleges or somewhere a little bit more conservative. Do you agree with that opinion, or do you think we should try to still fight back against it within the system?
Well, I mean, we have to do both. I mean, Sean Steele's a great friend of mine. I think he's I think one of the things that he's doing and very effectively doing is working to elect new conservative members to our school boards, because that's really, where things start, and we need to be intervening where our children are going to school. As far as the university level, I totally agree that people should be thinking really hard about where they want to send their kids to school. I mean, there are lots of alternatives to the Ivy Leagues, and we look, and especially going to, thinking about state college systems like University of Florida, where you don't have that type of extreme bias. But I do think we need to work on the rest of academia. We can't give up on that. What we need to do, though, is we need to offer some new perspectives. Some of that is going to have to occur on a kind of theoretical level amongst academics, really developing their ideas. The conservative ones that are able to really develop their ideas and try and promote them within academia. I mean, I think that's important. But it's a lot of it, and this is part of the reason I've gone into politics, is that a lot of it has to come from the outside. When I started on my race, I went to the regents of the University of California, and I went to one of their board meetings, and I emphasized to them publicly how they really need to get rid of their DEI programs, the system of racial preferences. And it has to start at that level, in the sense that the governor of California appoints the regents of the University of California. If we have a new governor in, we'd have new regents. If we have new regents, we'll have new chancellors, we have new presidents, and they can establish new policies that would feed down through all the levels. And so ultimately, it's going to be a political struggle in order to kind of change things at the top. With state universities, it'll happen through state legislatures and governors. At private universities, it'll happen through donors, but it'll happen, yes, through parents deciding they don't want to send their children to those types of schools.
The reason why I raise this question first is I think most of my peers, even in the media business, the problem is about the conservatives know about the other side, what their opinions are. But the problem is Democrats, people who just consume the mainstream media, they tend to not know what they don't even understand what Fox News is saying. Okay. So, that's where I see a huge gap, and that gap is not closing in. And it seems like we're getting further to they are getting more further to the left, and it's like we're living in two completely different worlds. And I have a friend named Tim Grossclose. I don't know whether you know him. He was a professor at UCLA teaching poli-sci, and he had a best-selling book named Left Turn: How Liberal Media Bias Distorts the American Mind. And he confessed to me that how difficult it was for him as a political science professor teaching. And he told me that he was the only Republican there, and they pretty much ostracized him, and they wouldn't even eat with him together. They didn't want to be shown to other people that they're having some kind of companionship with him. And he was I think he left that school anyway and went to a different school now. But I think it all starts with academia, and since your background is in academia, and by the way, did you leave the school now to run for office?
No, I am still a professor at UC Irvine. I had a sabbatical earlier in the year in January through March.
Okay.
I was teaching March through June. I had summer off, and now I've got it's called a non-teaching quarter. So
do you get that treatment too? Do you, sir, get that kind of treatment like what Tim Grossclose went through?
Well, what I have, the difficulty I've had is that I really haven't been able to bring in the types of speakers that I would like to bring in. So I've gotten pushback on that. Whenever there's these types of decisions, I get voted down, whatever, 8-1 or 10-1 or something like that. But I haven't felt intimidated in any way. I don't feel as if I need to somehow be quiet about my positions and about my perspectives. And actually, maybe it helps that I'm very vocal, and people know who I am. People know what I'm about, and they, I guess the people that don't agree with me, they just kind of they steer a wide course around me.
Yeah, when I interviewed you like almost 10 months ago, I got the impression that you don't care what they say. I got that impression in a pretty strong way. Can you talk about? Yeah, go ahead. Can you talk about your race against Lou Correa, the Democrat?
Yes.
He's an incumbent, right?
He's the incumbent. He's a Democratic incumbent. This is his fourth term. So my race comes down to really about freedom and government, because I really believe that the way in which more and more of our tax dollars are going into the federal government, which then takes that money and feeds it through this and creates this huge bureaucracy and feeds it through and tries to give it back to us. That's what's really been taking away our freedom, in which the government is trying to manage our lives. Lou Correa, if you look at his campaign ads, you look at his websites, he's all about how he brings federal dollars into the district. But so he's just participating in this whole game where we're sending our money, to the federal government, and they somehow give it back to us in dribs and drabs. And mostly it goes through it pays off all these government employees and nonprofits. And so we've created this whole bureaucracy that's taken freedom away from our lives. And so I have this plan to phase out all of our welfare and entitlement programs. It's $4 trillion a year. Take that, dissolve it into cash, give it back to people. Equally, everybody's going to get $16,000 a year for the rest of their lives if they're 21 and over. And that just takes that whole bureaucracy and basically turns it into cash back to the American people. And then once people have that money back in their pockets, they're able to exercise their freedom to make decisions about their lives, about where to put the resources that most help them.
Okay, yeah. And yeah,
I'm
yeah.
sorry. Yeah, I just want to make sure that all the candidates get a chance to get on.
Sure,
Because,
sure. Yeah, I
yeah,
was
I'm
about
so
to
sorry.
jump.
Yeah,
I just wanted to
because that's
say
all the
that
time they'll have. Then we'll cut to
yeah,
the
in
next meeting.
in the primary, David did really well, like 40% of the entire vote, 40 to 60%.
Yeah.
So I think you have a, I hope you do well come
Surveys
November.
that,
Yeah.
I think I have a great chance.
Yeah. I would like to, Thomas, can you opine on the current state of the media, the mainstream media? Because I think that's like what Trump said. They are the biggest enemy. I'm in the media business, so I know that they are the biggest enemy that we are facing against. Thomas, do you have any opinion on that? Yukong Mike?
Yes.
Yeah, can you opine on that? What say you?
Basically, I'm in Orlando, Florida. I'm also, first my partner, co-founder Holly Ham, did a wonderful job. Give us like a keynote speech. I'm also co-founder of Asians Magus, right? So yeah, I want to take this opportunity to say a few words why we organized to support President Trump, right? I
Sure.
grew up in communist China, and I'm a victim of a communist Chinese Cultural Revolution. My father, my whole family suffered political persecution, and I endured extreme poverty, lost loved ones prematurely. In 1992, I came to America to pursue my American dream. I worked hard all the way, like many other Asian Americans. I worked very hard and all the way and to become the director of global planning, Siemens Energy. I achieved my American dream. You know what? After that, I realized actually Democratic Party, today's Democratic Party, no longer like Bill Clinton era, that kind of Democratic Party. They're using like affirmative actions, launch anti-Asian discrimination in college admission. So I, mobilize work with many Asian community leaders, mobilize over 300 Asian organizations supported the historic lawsuits against Harvard. We have been fighting together side by side with Students for Federal Missions and my organization, Asian American Coalition for Education. We finally, joined work, together. We won the historic ruling by the U.S. Supreme Court last June, right? So that opening up my journey into American politics. Through my journey, I really realized, today, number one, today's Democratic Party already become radical, right? And also, they no longer really take care of Americans' interests. For example, they care about illegal immigrants. They care about other countries like border, not our border, right? They, domestically, they use like so-called racial quota to racial equity to really to do the so-called equal results, to achieve equal results. It was in China. When I was young, the Chairman Mao, Chinese dictator, want to use equal results. End of the day, nobody was incentivized to produce more. Nobody was motivated to work hard to run entrepreneurial. End of the day, China had extreme poverty. Everything was rationed. And then every urban citizen like me only had 2 pounds, sometimes only 1 pound of meat for whole months. That kind of extreme poverty. So I've seen that. I knew that kind of policy would lead to, huge, backward, when led to that, we'll lose our economic prosperity, in America if we allow Kamala Harris and a team like Watts, that kind of policy prevails, right? So that motivated me to really, take initiative, calling Holly Ham, we formed the team, formed this Asian Mag organization, right? So let me quickly summarize a few things I want all Asian voters, especially the ones in swing states, to know. Number one, many Asians care about equal education rights. It was President Trump who, in 2018, his administration supported lawsuits against Harvard. Also, his Department of Education, Department of Justice, took our civil rights complaint against Yale University, investigated Yale, and launched the lawsuits against Yale University. He also appointed 3 conservative justices, which enabled the historical ruling, grant all children equal education rights, right? In contrast, Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, when they took over, they immediately dropped against Yale. That lawsuit was on behalf of Asian American. They dropped that, right? And they also, when the ruling was announced, Kamala Harris said, post statement says that's backward for our country. No, it's not. Our position being supported by 74% of Americans. No one wants to use skin color to determine our children's enrollment in colleges, right? That's number one. Economy, Holly already mentioned a lot of great data. I want to give you 2 pieces data. Asians will save a lot. However, under Joe Biden, inflation from less than 2% under President Trump jumped to over 7%, tripled, right? Our lifelong saving become diluted, right? Many struggling Asians cannot afford a grocery, right? That is kind of a situation. That's also another one very important thing. Asians care about our future generation. You guess what? Under Joe Biden, our national debt skyrocketed. They use a very reckless spending. Today, every 100 days, our national debt increased 1 trillion. All children have to pay. So that's an economy. Crime, I want to tell you, crime is very important. Why Asians are short? We're not very big, very strong, right? When crime rise up, Asians become easy target by the criminals. You guess what? Kamala Harris, she helped the crime. In 2014, she championed, when she was Attorney General in California, she championed Proposition 47, the crimes like shoplifting and also robbery, less than $950. You know what? Other states also did that. But it was Kamala Harris did not punish, as an Attorney General, he did not punish this kind of, criminals. End of the day, skyrocketed. Many Asians in California being robbed, being killed because of rising crime. Also in New York City, right? Because defunding police, which Kamala Harris supported. Also like Democrats' failure to control the mental illness and also the crime. Many Asians being robbed, also being pushed into the subway, right? In New York City, right? If we elect Kamala Harris, the failing policy in California, in Minnesota, and also in New York will be spread all nations. That is not acceptable. Immigration, right? Immigration, open board, over 8 million coming to this country, hundreds of billions of dollars being spent on the illegal immigrants. That's our tax burden. On the top of that, our Asians being limited by the quotas. Each year we only get 44,000 family-based quota and 14,000, merit-based quota. It was President Trump who wanted to change merit. If we change merit, we have more Asian qualified. President Trump also said he wants more merit-based immigration. He made it very clear Asian Americans are good contributor to our economy. He wanted more Asians coming to America. That's in 2020. He said that clearly, right? So also, in terms inside the states, Democrats attack President Trump. You know what? It was Democrats label Asians. We work hard, emphasize education. We have a lot of children are able to go to college, but Democrats label Asian as overrepresented, okay? They label us have white privilege. Come on, We have no power. Asian Americans are politically most marginalized minority in America. There's no law, any law in favor of Asian Americans that labels as having white privilege. That's a shame, right?
Yeah.
So I want to today, I want to first thank you all of you listening. Thank you, great host, for organizing this. But I want you to take away the message. Asian Americans actually benefit the most from the Trump administration. We suffered the most from the Biden-Harris administration. So the choice is very clear. If you want economic prosperity, vote for Trump. If you want public safety, vote for Trump. If you want to have equal education rights, vote for Trump. If you want to preserve the American dream, vote for Trump. So that's conclude my, speech here. Thank you. If anybody have comments, such questions, I'll be happy to answer.
Thank you very much, Yukong Zhao. It seems like you know more about California than me, living actually here, about the Proposition 47, which actually, Kamala Harris did co-author about people stealing less than $950, they don't get charged. And the police, most of my police friends, they feel so humiliated when they get arrested and they just get right off the free to the streets. And Asian American being politically most marginalized, I completely agree with you. Among all minority groups, it seems like Asians are always the exception. When the mainstream media says minority, they immediately just talk about African Americans, Hispanic Americans, but it seems like they're not talking about Asian Americans regarding many specific issues. That was really great. Asians benefit the most from Trump administration, and you also said we suffer the most from Kamala administration. I have to clap to that. I think that really sums it all up. Ed, do you want to chip in your opinion about?
One more thing is before we go on, actually, Maylor Xiang, she's actually running in a swing state, and as a down ballot candidate, if she can actually bring her people to the polls, it will also help President Trump become elected. So she's very important. My internet went out at one point. Did she really get a chance to talk about her campaign right quick?
I wasn't sure whether she's hooked up in. Yeah, May.
Can
you
hear me?
Oh,
yeah.
You're a
Can you
huge
go
part
ahead?
of this.
All right. Thank
so
you so
important.
much. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm from the horrible state of Minnesota right now because Walz is running this state.
I know.
And he is trying
like California, I heard.
Yeah, it is. It is. That's his role model. California is his role model, and he's trying to turn Minnesota to California. But yes, Minnesota right now is an important state to make sure that Trump wins in Minnesota. It is crucial. My district plays a crucial role in making sure that if we're going to flip the Minnesota red, if Trump is going to win, it's going to go through District 4 and District 5, and that's in the Twin Cities. The rest of other districts are pretty much red, but it's in the Twin Cities area, the metro area, that is where the majority of the people are, and and they tend to vote blue. But the one thing that I realized, when I became actively involved in politics back in 2020, is I realized the Republican Party in Minnesota kind of like abandoned District 4 and just kind of allow Democrats to take over, kind of like Walz allow Minneapolis to burn. And so we have a lot of work to do. And, being a minority, being a woman, I'm also the chairperson for the Asian American Republican of Minnesota. Mm-hmm. And what we have to, do is really go into these blue areas and share our message. And that's what we haven't done for years, for decades, I should say. And so we have not given them an option or a choice to say, look, the Democrats have taken over this district for 50, 60, 70 years, and we haven't seen change. In fact, it has gotten worse and worse, but there's another option out there for us. And nobody has been able to share this to especially the minority communities in this district. And I was the only one back in 22 when I ran, is to go into these very, very blue areas and be bold and let the people know that, look, this district hasn't changed. The person that is in office right now, she doesn't care about us. She is allowing crime in some of the poorest neighborhoods, and it's not okay, because every neighborhood, no matter where you are, we deserve a safe community. We deserve a safe community. We deserve safe neighborhoods, and that's where I want to make sure that we promote the police force. We want to support our police enforcement, and I want to make sure that we bring in more federal dollars to the police force, so that way they can do their jobs. The soft on crime in Minnesota doesn't help what's happening in some of these areas. But the most important thing that we have to do, and I have to continue to fight every day, is these messages from the Democrats, because they're just filled with money. And what they do is they hire college kids to go and do the absentee ballots, to spread these lies about Republicans. Right now, my opponent is just running on women reproductive rights. And even though she says she cares about women, but she voted against Title IX, which is to protect women's sports. She also voted against deporting illegal criminals who commit crimes against women. So this is a woman who said who wants to protect women, but yet she voted against bills that will protect women in America. And so she is delusional. She is a liar. And we need to make sure that we put these type of politicians away. We need to fire them. And that's kind of like my message is we need strong leadership, because we are suffering under weak leadership. People suffer. And no matter if you're Democrats or Republicans, the consequences are still the same. What else? I was a teacher in St. Paul Public Schools for 20 years. So, quality education is also something that I it's near and dear to my heart. I want to make sure that we have equal opportunities and we have academic excellence for all students, not just certain group of people. And we need to make sure that every student have that choice and that opportunity to decide to go where, what school to go to. Their parents we have to bring back that power to the parents so they can make that decision for their students and for the family. So right now, I'm out there every day just getting the message to the people, and we created multiple ads, billboards all over. I also team up with local candidates to lit drop, and our campaign is pretty much a grassroots, just getting out there, door knocking.
Do you have like a website? Like when you drop the literature, what does it say? mailersiang.com or something?
Yep, mayformn.com.
Okay, and you guys still taking donations right now?
We do. We need right now. We need money. We need money. We need help. We still need to continue to get our social media out there for people, because it is so important. The thing is that I know specifically my community. When I go and talk to them, they're conservative when it comes to their values, but they don't know. I mean, we haven't educate them enough on policies and what the Democrats are doing. And I'm slowly getting through to them, where a lot of the hardworking, families, like young people like you and I, they get it, because they see it, when they get their paychecks. They see it when they get their property taxes, or it's increasing every year. They see when their kids come back and said, "Oh, Mom, I'm not sure if I'm a boy or a girl." That doesn't happen. And especially Asian kids, we usually tell our kids at a very young age, "Hey, you're a boy or you're a girl." And we also believe that education is making sure that we take our kids to school and they're learning how to read and write, not socialist agenda. And that's what's happening to our educational system right now, is indoctrinating our children, and that is not okay. And so when I share these policies with parents, with like different Asian communities, they're shocked. They're shocked by the policies that are implementing in Minnesota. And so we have a lot of work, but I know that there's hope, and we have a chance to turn Minnesota around. We have a chance to prove to the rest of the country that we're not crazy in Minnesota, and that we have good people here, but we also have to fight really hard to get our message across. And right now, Democrats is just money machine.
You got any cool events coming up soon?
At this point, we don't. We have sign waving this Thursday.
Okay.
So we're doing a lot of sign waving from different highways and different places, but we don't have. I just had a few major events like last weekend and then 2 weeks ago. But right now, at this point, we're just doing sign waving, and then we just need enough money to do maybe one social media push and like on Facebook. I know that I just bought about $5,000 worth of social media with Jam Loop. So it's like Roku and YouTube, those type of ads. But we really need more money to push on on Facebook.
So Betty McCollum, she pretty much agrees upon all the Kamala's policies, right?
Oh, exactly. And she's also about open border. And, for legal immigrants like all of us, it's an insult to us because we waited our turn. We were vetted and we came here legally and we were able to chase and live the American dream. And for her and Kamala Harris to have this open border and to have millions and millions of illegal immigrants coming in here, and especially when allowing terrorists and criminals coming into this country flooded with fentanyl drugs, where right now, our Americans, especially the young Americans, are, their lives are being devastated by these drugs. And a few weeks ago, I had the opportunity to sit down with Betty McCollum with a forum, which they didn't call a forum because they didn't allow me to attack her as much. But I said, look, 23 years ago, my community, and I'm only speaking about my community because, I'm a member of it, so I can speak freely, but there was no Hmong homeless encampment. Today, there's like several homeless encampments for the Hmong community. And usually Asians, that is unheard of. And I said, because your failed policy is because you abandoned the district and you abandoned my people in this community. That is why we have so many homelessness here, and we have so many young kids and veterans that are sleeping out on the street. And one thing that right now she's also doing is she went into Star Tribune, which is one of the major newspaper in the Twin Cities, and she is lying that, like the Hmong people should vote for her because if they're going to be, if Trump gets to be the president, he's going to send them back to Laos. And that is just, basically lie, because we came here illegally. We are refugees from Laos. We helped the American fight the Vietnam War, and we came illegally, and we're considered traitors to Laos. So they wouldn't even send us back. And so what she was trying to do is spread lies. And she knows that a lot of the older generation, they're still very illiterate in English, and they can't speak the language. So whoever is telling her this to lie about this, it's very frightening to a lot of the seniors and the people that they don't know any better. And this really angered me, and that's where I need to make sure that I have enough money to go into social media and call out the lie she's doing, that she's spreading in my community and also in District 4.
Yeah. I think seems like a lot of Asian parents, they don't understand Title IX about protection to students who identify as the opposite sex, because Asian Americans, I think we are probably the most conservative when it comes to those traditional values. when you ask people around, do they understand it, these transgender agenda, or do they have no clue about what's going on in school?
I think they don't understand until you have to explain it to them. They don't understand that in Minnesota, these are the policies that they already passed. Even abortion, they're like, but I'm a woman. Democrats are protecting my rights. I'm like, look, I think America has the most rights for women if you think about in all, in the world. So no one is going to take our rights away. And I think that the Democrats does such a great job promoting, the scare tactic to women. And that's all they hear is they're going to take away our rights. They're going to, they're not going to allow us to decide our body, to decide what we want. I said, it has nothing to do that. Of course you do. Right now, if you're talking about abortion law, Roe versus Wade, it's put back to the state where it's close to the people. They have decided in the state of Minnesota, they already decided the abortion law is here for the women. But when you really think about women's rights, what is it? I mean, that's the only thing that they're talking about is abortion. They're not talking about your right and your opportunity. They're not protecting Title IX. They're not protecting you if you're being raped or you're being kidnapped by illegal, criminals in this country. And what I'm trying to tell them is, look, we are not safe under the Democrats. The kids are not safe under the Democrats. Your 401k and your life savings are not safe under the Democrats. This country is not safe under the Democrats. And the world sure is not safe under the Democrats. And we have to make that very clear because we know how dangerous their policies are to the people, to our children, and to the world. And especially when your enemies, such as Russia and Putin, if they're rooting for Kamala Harris, then we should be very, very afraid. Why are the enemies, rooting for her to win this election? Yeah. We know that then we should know that she is weak and she is someone that they can be bought, and she will destroy this country. And we must do everything that we can to make sure that Trump gets elected and that we put the right leaders in DC so that way we can get our country back and we could implement policies that will serve better for the people and for Americans.
Yeah. The former chairwoman of Republican Party of Minnesota, she was a Korean American named Jennifer Carnahan. Are you close with her? Is she helping out, or, just out of curiosity?
Yep. So when I got into politics, she was out already.
Okay, got it. I understand. Minnesota, when I think about Minnesota, I think about like the artist Prince. And in 1984, during the election, Reagan won every single state except for Minnesota. So hopefully the result will be different this year.
I think I'm very optimistic, that we will be able to turn Minnesota red, especially in my district. I'm hoping to make history here, being the first Hmong American to win a congressional seat, and also to have a Republican candidate win this district in about, I believe it's like 70 years. So we're working really hard, and I'm very optimistic. And I think that people are ready for change, and people are excited about my candidacy, because I'm not just someone who is just saying, hey, I want to be in U.S. Congress. I actually am very compassionate and very passionate about my message to the people. And I think that resonates with people, and they could see that, I'm real, and I'm not just someone who's just going to talk about why, just like my platform, but really the reasons why I am running on those platforms, because I've seen it all. I've always been a public servant and helping people and work with a lot of underprivileged students and families. And so that's where my passion is, to making sure that we bring change and we bring positive change to the district.
Well, thank you very much, May, for helping out the MAGA movement. Hopefully all Asian Americans cross country can help your campaign, can chip in or just help you, whatever. We need more Asian Americans in the office, but not just that. You know, most especially most of all, you're a strong conservative, and we need this MAGA movement to grow. I mean, pretty much.
Absolutely. I would really appreciate every dollar that I can get at this point to do the last push.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, May. Ed, do you want to chip in with your opinion about the Asian MAGA movement and the media, or do you want to skip it? Or
Well, okay.
Tom?
So like I had actually planned before like to have like the candidate session. So I think the candidates have all spoken. You know, if they want to have any last thing they want to like say to each other, then I want to cut to the community. But actually, I don't think Stephanie or actually Jane Jin are here now. Jane sent me actually a video to play, right? And she's actually a very, very powerful spokesperson for the movement to talk about a lot of powerful things. I haven't run the movie yet. I need to check that. So if you guys don't mind, I'm going to actually show my personal email on the screen right now and go to try to show this video that Jane sent me. I'm so sorry. Yeah. Okay. She might be able to be here. She might not be able to be here. So.
Okay.
Yeah, I requested. I don't have access right now. Okay, so I do have an earlier interview with her, but she can't show up apparently, and Stephanie is not responding either. But she's done incredible work. She has, if you see any pictures of Chinese people in front of like the courthouse when Trump was indicted and other things like that, it's her people that are up there. They're in Pennsylvania every single weekend, you know, going door to door for the campaign. Let me see if they're sending me text messages right now. Okay, they are not. So, oh wait, okay, we're about to see. But I am. Oh my goodness, right? It was amazing here from Holly Ham right there earlier, and Lisa right here is really gonna bring it home, right? She just arrived. She has some amazing things that Asians MAGA. I was so excited. Yo, wait till you hear this. Go ahead, Lisa. You got this. Lisa was telling me earlier about like some plans she got coming up. I think there's something possibly Thursday going down. Maybe some.
Okay.
Yeah. Lisa, you there?
Hey.
Oh my goodness.
Yes, I'm here.
All right, you got
yes,
this.
I'm finally here. Yes, so I'm excited. I am a writer for Right Side Broadcasting, RSBN, a political commentator with the Super PAC Asians MAGA, and the billboard behind me. I'll send a link to the post on X. There's a story behind this that I was telling DJ about it earlier. So a little bit about myself is that I'm originally from the New York, New Jersey area, born and raised over there. My parents they immigrated from the Philippines. So for me, that's always resonated within me, the Christian Catholic values I grew up with. My dad has always instilled American pride. His story, he would tell me, is that he landed at JFK when he first immigrated from the Philippines. And he literally said, I'm kissing the ground. It's because I'm in America. I'm free. And this was back in the 1980s. So I try to tell this story to undecided voters and voters who are not sure about, like, you know, you should really, really be proud of being born and raised and being from America. It's something that we take for granted, especially my generation. And I try to resonate with that through social media. I do a lot of social media outreach. My ex is Liberty Lupia. I'll drop that on the chat later on. And I try to create funny memes. I try to do different videos too from our broadcasting side at RSBN that they're always interviewing Asian Americans from different backgrounds waiting at the rally. So Filipinos, Vietnamese, Chinese were Trumps. Everyone's represented there. So I try to tell our story and to get it blown up in social media and viral. So that's where I'm going back to the billboard. Mike was, I'm very thankful meeting Mike and Asian MAGA there. I'm spearheading with Nevada, the Asians MAGA over here. And I was able to get 20 billboards that says Asian Americans for Trump economy, safety, and peace. 20 digital billboards throughout Las Vegas because Nevada is 10% of the voting population is Asian American and the largest voting population is Filipino. So we got to win. We actually matter. Our voices will be heard through President Trump. It's his policies that I always try to tell the younger generation, my generation on social media, whenever the leftist Filipino influencers and also media companies on, like I think one Don, that's one of a big Filipino American the media, that major media they use on Instagram, and also Filipinos on the Six. I try to attack right back and say that, look, listen, Asian Americans for Trump, are you better off now, or are you better off 4 years under President Trump's first administration 4 years ago? And I try to relay that message, especially to my generation and the youth, because I feel like they get lost in the celebrity endorsements and also the big influencers. But I'm like, no, you really got to think about it with your pockets right now, especially with high gas prices. Gas is $4 a gallon here in Nevada right now, and plus we're getting our groceries from California, and also good services. Everything's being shipped over here, like through the trucks and everything. So I try to say this all the time, that it's like the matter of, if you're comparing how much you have now versus how much, like, you're paying so much more, especially like I think about utilities, gas prices, groceries. You can't compare the administration now versus Trump's administration. Kamala is just going to be an extension of Biden, and she's going to be worse. I say this, that it's freedom versus communism right now. Make the obvious choice right now. It's early voting. Also starting here in Nevada and the swing states like Georgia, North Carolina, there's big population of Filipinos and also Asian Americans. I'm trying to reach out to social media. It's because social media, word of mouth spreads like fire once it goes viral. So what I did with the billboard was I literally just message a bunch of the big influencers, hey, can you share this and repost it? And all of a sudden now President Trump, I posted that X post on Monday night. I got a call from the Trump campaign Wednesday morning. They said, okay, we're gonna actually do an event with Tulsi Gabbard with Turning Point, and we're actually going to do an Asian American discussion panel. I'm like, yes, this is happening. Like, now that we're finally on the map, it took a lot of months to get there, but this is going to be an exciting time for us to get your community excited. Also, talk to your friends, talk to your family, be able to have these discussions. It's because I feel like as Asian Americans and also Filipinos, like my family, my parents, we don't talk about politics, but we have our country at stake right now. And I'm not just talking about it's the younger generation that I tell everyone is my nieces and my nephews, my cousins who are still young. They're still teenagers, they're still little kids. That's who I'm fighting for right now. We need to continue this fight. And now we literally have 15 days left. That's all we have right now. So mail-in ballots, do ask your friends and families, hey, do you need help? I'll do the ballot harvesting and all this stuff. Also be able to say that, hey, do you need a ride to go to the voting locations? It's just we have to come together as a community. This is the most important election in our entire lifetime, because it's the matter of, do you want Kamala crackling on and giving millions and trillions and billions to foreign countries while our borders are wide open, crime is going up, there's literally apartments being taken over by gangs and illegal migrants? Do you want that? Do you want the fact that in New York City, they are giving thousands of dollars in prepaid debit cards and also free housing in luxury hotels? Meanwhile, people are struggling. There's veterans in the streets that are homeless. We're not taking care of the American people. We're last under Kamala right now and Biden. And the fact that Kamala's in office as vice president, she's not doing anything about it. That's the reason why I'm doing what I'm doing. It's because I want to make sure we have a loud voice as Asian Americans and that we're united together to vote back President Trump. And to also say that, you know what, enough is enough. I say this in Tagalog, tapos na. That means enough in Filipino and Tagalog. That's it. We're done. Kamal's a fried lumpia. We all like egg rolls over here as Asian Americans. Egg roll lumpia is an egg roll for in the Philippines. So I say that as a fun tagline to reach out to Asian Americans. She's fried. That's it. She's cooked. Because you know what? It's going to be up to you. So do what you can in terms of social media outreach, also talking to friends and family, and get out the vote, get out the message right now, because if we don't win, then our country's done.
You know what? Actually, I don't know if you actually have the you could share on your screen, but you know that tweet that President Trump retweeted of your stuff? That was amazing. He's in town right now, and by the way, I don't know if y'all seen that video of him at McDonald's. He's killing it. The Democrats want to make seem like Donald Trump is feeble and weak. In the background, you hear a girl saying, "You're doing a great job." I don't know if you see the video of him at McDonald's, but yo, it's killer. I think it's great. I think he's definitely gonna win. All right.
Sure.
Yeah.
I'll share my screen one sec. But I'm just saying that it's my hope right now that we continue together, united with our different backgrounds, and all of you are community leaders over here. It's up to all of us to continue to get the word out. Whether, it's just we've been ignored this long by the campaign, but now we actually have a voice, and it's just we got to keep going with this. You see my screen? Oh no, wait, is it in?
It's going infinite. Yeah, like there's like a Twitter, on Twitter, actually, President Trump actually reposted her thing from something called Right Side Broadcasting Network. You should definitely check her out.
Oh yes,
yeah,
yes.
Shout out your contact info so people can subscribe to Right Side Broadcasting Network or whatever.
Yes, I have two different names. My Instagram, I'll share that too. Yes, I'll show my highlights right now. 1 second.
All right, so after this, really for the community time, I was just going to see how we can work together to really, move things forward. Okay. Oh, this is amazing. All right.
Yes.
Control
He's
plus.
Reposted.
Make it bigger, yeah.
Yes, he's reposted my articles 3 times, and you know what? It's so cool to say that my name is right there with him.
Yeah, you said you might have an event coming up with Tulsi Gabbard and
President Trump. Yes, so we have an event. So that event is going to be an AAPI discussion on October 24th here in Las Vegas. I'll drop the link so everyone can watch it through RSBN. And then October 23rd here in Vegas, we have a Filipino Heritage Month dinner. It's Filipino Heritage Month. It's to celebrate our community being the largest Asian American population here in Las Vegas. So super excited. There's a lot going on that, let's continue to keep this going, keep this momentum going. We only have 15 days left. Now almost 14 days.
Filipino is also heavy military. Military is heavily Republican. So I think that's a strong base. I think it's a lot of Filipino Republicans for real. Wait,
yes.
Do you know the numbers? Is actually Republicans more? Okay, it looks like Lisa's out, so that happens. All right, folks. So now I guess it's time for just the media discussion panel, I guess, where we can talk about today's event and then just say maybe what the most powerful parts of it were, or help summarize today's the takeaways from today's event. Okay, while I guess Lisa's reconnecting, I'm also going to introduce myself. Hey, my name is DJ Elf7. Now the thing is that there's no two people that can agree on all positions or priorities. So you may have a different opinion from some of the things said tonight, but I do believe that overall, the Republican Party is actually the best party at the moment for achieving system-wide change, and I have a lot of access in this community that I don't have in other communities. I'm very excited to be a part of it. Right now, there's a lot of unfortunate gatekeeping going on in a lot of communities, but hopefully we're going to be through some of those barriers very soon. So I am really excited to be here. Anyways, DGL7.com, you guys can look it up. I have a mailing list, and that's definitely good for organizing. And right here, what do we got coming up next? Trying to win this election. So once again, Mailer Siong, and was a huge part of this, and Lisa's achieving wonderful things. Hey, I don't want to keep talking. Is Young Suk still here? Yeah. Michael won? Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Lisa, you
I'm
guys want
still
to say
here.
anything for the moderator section, for the moderator slash
Yeah, I mean, just gotta make the MAGA movement make it stronger. I know, DJ, you started off as a Green Party, right? Initially, but now you joined the MAGA movement, and I know that now it's one way or the other. That's how I see it. It's either destruction of America or rebuilding of America. Actually, making America great again, and we have clear choices. And I cannot understand. I think the only reason why a lot of people vote for Democrats is out of habit, or they just don't see it clearly, or they're not really attuned about politics. Politics is the most important thing, one of the most important thing in life. Everything is politics, whether your relationship with your family or your friends, everything is politics. So it's very important. People need to know what Trump stands for. He stands for he stands for us. He stands for Asian Americans, and even regarding affirmative action, I think a lot of people would agree with Trump that we're against it. And even regarding Title IX, I think Asian American parents should be hopping mad about that. So, yeah, so that's why I think most of the Democrat supporters, they just don't know. They are not well informed. So I would like to say that when we talk with Democrats and when we talk with people who are, I don't want to use the term brainwashed, but misinformed, I think we should be gentle and nice to them. That's how I converted a lot of them. I never converted by shouting at them or just assert my ideology. I bet DJ, you know what I'm talking about. I mean, so we have to be gentle, and kind to them, and one day they figure it out. They do, because I saw literally hundreds of people changing their opinions in front of me. So I know that it works. If I shouted at them and I can't believe that you don't understand me, or you don't understand what Trump stands for, then I think they might not have converted. But I think we have to try to be nice, and everybody has to come out and vote from now, all the way to November 5th. And it became, I don't know whether it's a good thing or a bad thing. I think it's a bad thing, because election day, it should be one day, but now it became an election season. And New York Times, Washington Post has already has been saying that the result might not come out the first 3-4 days. So it makes me a little bit worried about it, that we're going to have a flashback of what happened in 2020. And I truly believe that there has been some kind of illegal activity that has been going on in 2020. And I hope that it doesn't happen for this year. And I don't know. I'm praying for it. I'm praying for a good result. I feel before, I'm in the news media business, so I never put my emotion too much into it, but I am very emotionally involved now, because I think the country is at stake. And hopefully just everybody just comes out and vote. And that's just how it is. We have to come out more than the other side.
Actually, if there's one thing I could just, so sorry to just stick in one more thing, but I'm just going to take a little privilege here. The thing is that one of the issues that I know a lot of people get worked up about is actually the whole Israel situation, and there's actually, words in support of Israel. Now, the thing is that even though I do personally support Palestine, they don't really help me. I'm going to tell you right now, right, you can see that they're not really inviting me to their events or anything like that, and as we work with the wrongfully incarcerated people in public housing, they're not working with them either, or at least not within my coalition. And it's not because I'm keeping them out, they're keeping me out. They talk about these professional activists. I can tell you firsthand about a lot of that stuff is true, and I'm dealing with that right now. I actually help a lot of communities, okay? Sorry about that. That's one thing I just want to get out there. But I do want to say right now that the Republicans right now, they are actually, the Democrats get 8 times the amount of money, not twice, not 3 times, almost 8 times the amount of money from the Israeli state as the Republicans. All groups have factions, and right, hey, look, let's be real. Trump says he's 100% for Israel, so if you believe in Israel, right, I think Trump's the right choice. But if you're someone who says, you know what, I want to have a de facto resistance party that will actually take on the corruption, like, where's all the money going? Like, if you're someone who believes, right, that, Palestine should be, I think Republican is a great way to go. Like, maybe you think that I'm crazy because Trump says, hey, you know what? Once again, look at which organization is getting all the money, and which side can you convince? So this election season, I know people are thinking about voting for Jill Stein. I'm telling you right now, I just had an indigenous man named, what's his name? Josh Haley from Green Party Alaska. They had a vote. Oh my God, they had a vote, right? And then Green Party Nationalists decided to kick him out the way and take all the money. It's disgusting. And Jill Stein has said nothing about this. And I had a group of U.S. presidential candidates at my last U.S. presidential debate. We're having one next weekend, by the way. But they said at the last presidential debate that they all supported Josh Haley and myself getting a meeting with Jill Stein, which Jill Stein is running from. So Asian Americans can no longer get justice in the Green Party, but you look at the amount of access that I got today. Holly Ham, oh my goodness. Like Zhao, Lisa's doing incredible things. This community right here is embracing me, and I'm telling my whole coalition, even though I understand there's reasons why you may have difference of opinions or you don't really believe in, right, or some positions where you were like in diametric opposition with. Overall, at this we have access here, and I'm voting Republican. That's what's up. Thank you for listening. Anybody else? That's just my opinion. All right, folks.
Yeah, let me make a final comment. I'm very glad, humbled to get a lot of support, including Lisa from Las Vegas, right? I have also many support from all over the nation. And so I welcome everyone join our Asians Mega movement. And our website is asiansmega.org. We're doing wonderfully. We already have billboard not only in Las Vegas, we have in like New Hampshire, like in Michigan, in North Carolina, and many other places, right? We also already organized many rallies. So we're all determined. We're going to, defend our American dream. And this, is not say supporting an individual candidate. It's really supporting your American dream. Do you want your children continue to have American dream? If you want, the right choice is President Trump. So join us and check out our website, asiansmega.org. Thanks a lot.
All right, anybody else? All right, thanks for checking out AAPI for Trump. It's been, go ahead, Lisa. Oh, you want to play a movie, right?
Yeah, you could play that video real quick. I use it as a hype video now to inspire the Asian American community to get out, speak up, and fight. Okay. So yeah, feel free to
send it to me like by email or something. Like, where is this?
It's on YouTube. Hold on, I'll drop it on the
chat?
Yes.
Okay.
It's a quick 90-second video that I made that
cool.
I just want to continue to inspire all of us because we have a voice and you can make a difference. Asian American values are conservative values, that our values align with freedom, faith, hard work, self-reliance, being independent. These are things and also education as well. These are very important issues that align with the Republican Party. We're not part of the Democrats at all. And it's just a matter of continuing to educate more of our family and friends in the community.
Yeah. It's a de facto resistance party. Anything,
yes.
If you're not happy with the way things are right now, either if you want to make America great again or if you want to go towards a new future, right, the best way is through this party right here, the Republican Party. That's it. All right, I'm going to play this video right here. Share it on the screen. Give me a second so y'all can see it. And I'm probably going to end it after this video.
Some people are just born to fight, I think.
Oh my goodness. Okay, wait, let me...
It's not that they're born brave. It's not that they're born strong. It's just that the universe has decided that this one will have grit and fire and steel in their blood. And this cosmic metal of theirs, they'll face trial after trial, be broken and damaged.
All right, we're ending it right here.
Some people are just born to fight, I think. It's not that they're born brave. It's not that they're born strong. It's just that the universe has decided that this one will have grit and fire and steel in their blood. And it'll be tested. This cosmic metal of theirs, They'll face trial after trial, be broken and damaged in countless ways. But this one was born to fight. Maybe it's not the life they would have chosen. Maybe they'd love to lay down their arms. But they were born to fight.
That was crazy. All right, I love that. Yeah. All right, folks, thanks for checking out AAPI for Trump. Let me just check the chat right quick. I also had a portion at the end where we're supposed to actually interact with the chat. So let me go. See if anybody has any questions for the crew right here. Sorry about that. I almost forgot. Goodness. Have no viewers. Oh, 5 people watching. Okay. I also had a portion at the end where we're supposed to actually. Oh my goodness! Wow, there's a whole bunch of stuff here. Oh my goodness. Mindworks podcast. Drill baby drill. Okay. I think this person's mad about a psychology lecture at CUNY. Textbooks are slightly left-leaning. Okay, so this person is actually a Trump supporter. Truth about de Blasio, keep rocking. Okay, Trump fans 2024. Okay, we have tampon Tim. We got a lot of Trump supporters. We need critical thinking says war criminals. Hey, that's not. I'm gonna try to take that on through the Republicans. We're gonna see what's up. All right, folks. Thanks for checking out. Yeah, I guess that's it. So I'm gonna end the live stream.